in government to deepen this democracy, and he has demonstrated his commitment unalloyed, unavowed to democracy. So he's taking it in his stride. We are all taking it in our stride as committed Democrats, because we do not want anything to derail this democracy, hard fought for and hard won. Now, those who are bellyaching all around, issuing threats that if they do not win, there will be fire and brimstone and all that, I ask you, how many of them were in the barricades fighting for this democracy? They were not there. So they do not appreciate democracy. They do not understand the dynamics and nuances and the convention of democracy. So they have no stake in this democracy. That's why they can say there will be fire and brimstone. In fact, some obedience have been calling for the return of the military if they are not declared the winner of this election. And that is very, very sad. That will show you that these are not Democrats. And I repeat, because they never took part in the democratic struggle, they never acted in deepening and sustaining this democracy, it is easy for them to want to scuttle it. But those of us who were part and parcel of the democratic struggle, we knew what we went through. Our principal went through the crucibles, harassment, oppression, suppression, and the whole works to get this democracy in place. So we are prepared to nurture it. And the result in Lagos is also an eloquent testimony to the fairness of this process. If anything, any lesson is to be drawn from the Lagos results today, it is that when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is eventually declared by the umpire, INEC, as the legitimately elected president of this country, nobody should complain about the process, because the process has been demonstrably fair and just, as exemplified by the results in Lagos, which we are not even contesting now. We are taking it in our strides as Democrats. But it is a testimony to the freeness and fairness of this process. So let nobody come and complain when we are declared the winner that, oh, they've been rigged out. If we did not rig them out in Lagos, we are not about to rig them out anywhere else. So our victory is established and verified by what has happened in Lagos today. Thank you. Sorry, yes.
In terms of whether INEC or it was NTC that had the right to determine whether there was network in transmitting results. I know there was this back and forth. The Electoral Act went to the National Assembly, came back, and Nigerians queried the fact that you cannot usurp the powers of INEC and give it to NTC, and I'm sure that was, reverted and corrected later on. So I want to find out from you, because I was at the National Collation Center yesterday, and but behind the chairman was a projection of the results. They were also being presented by the various direct Are you saying that transmission of results electronically is mandatory when you look at this provision? Or are you saying that it can be jettisoned, but there is no penalty towards it? And so on.
Sorry, can I add to that so to get up?
Yes. Yeah.
My name is John Chuk online. Yes. On this issue, you make mention of INEC guidelines and the Constitution.
Yes.
Can one say that probably INEC decided to deceive Nigerians when they gave a guideline and gave a portal that Nigerians should follow immediately to have the elections monitored, the result of election monitored? And they didn't know that. The reason why I think Nigerians are complaining. So if INEC should give a guideline for a political party, at the end of the day, just like their guideline, not possible that we should complain? That's my question. The second what you have to do is, the survey said a tossing of the results that shows that APC is late. I would like to also know how far about that. Is it through uploading or to your agents at the polling or collation centers? Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
Okay, you go first.
Yes, okay. Now, look at the provision of Section 60 of the Electoral Act. I want to refer you to the provision of Section 60 of the Electoral Act. Now, it says, for benefit of you, that the presiding officer shall, after counting the votes at the polling unit, enter the votes called by each candidate in a form to be prescribed by the commission as the case may be. The form shall be signed and stamped by the presiding officer and countersigned by the candidates of their polling agents where available at the unit. 3. The presiding officer shall give to the polling agents and the police officer where available a copy each of the completed forms after it has been duly signed as provided under subsection 2. 4. The presiding officer shall count and announce the results at the polling unit. 5. The presiding officer shall transfer the results including total number of accredited voters and results of the ballot in a manner as prescribed by the commission. The presiding officer who willfully contribute, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you look at this now, this provision, there is no provision here that tells you about uploading, does it? Is it?
No, please.
Hold on.
Let me comment, please.
Yes.
I don't lost it.
Yes.
You read the last provision.
Yes.
Saying that after being signed,
Yes.
he will transmit.
Yes.
What INEC has prescribed electronic transmission.
I agree.
So you really needed to be in that section.
No, but the argument is not the transmission. So you have lost the argument.
It's not the transmission.
They have transmitted.
If it is transmitted, then we should see it somewhere.
No,
you
no.
cannot.
After being transmitted to me, you now go further and then upload it somewhere in an iMail, like a website.
Totally. Transmission is to who?
It's to the INEC, to the national head office of INEC.
Not to the public.
You are not transmitting
Not
it
to the public.
Not to that public. So I want all of you to follow this procedure very well. Do you understand me? Well, after you transmit to me in INEC, so hello.
Festus.
Hello.
That's exactly Dino's mix-up.
Yes. Which is the mix up by Dino.
It doesn't get it.
You know, maybe.
It's okay. Round it up.
Yes, and that's why we complain at times when you go to law school and get some kind of well, I won't say that, shady. And I still encourage him to go to the law school and know some of these procedures
proper school.
so that it's not half education that he gets. Now, this is a profession I've practiced for 30 years. 30 years, applause. And I'm at the height of this profession. So these things are at my fingertips. And that's what I'm explaining to you. So you can see that provision they are relying on is not a provision of the law. I hope you understand me. Now, I want to ask you this. Now, have you tried to transfer money at times for 5 days? In the last 2-3 weeks, we knew what happened. I could not transfer at times from banks, what's it called? Apps. This is a kind of procedure because they all depend on network, availability on network, and the back end, or what they call the infrastructure. Yes, the workability of it. Okay. Now, the critical point Mahmoud made today, I want you to, this is the last point I'll make and I'll keep quiet. I want you to listen to go back and play back the critical point Mahmoud made today. He said, look, the authenticity of these results are not determined by that uploading. Do you understand me? You cannot challenge the authenticity of the results by the fact that it did not appear on the IRED. You can only challenge the authenticity of the result by the step-by-step collation. Absolutely. And if along the line there was a discrepancy in that step-by-step collation, that's how you can challenge the authenticity of that result. The uploading it has nothing to do, the showing to the public has nothing to do with the authenticity of the result.
Simple.
Yes, the other part of your question was regarding.
The other part of the question has to do with how you came about to know that
we're winning.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, I did say a cursory look, right. And don't forget, we have our own collation center. We have our own situation room. We have agents in all the over 176 polling units who also transmit their own results to us. Apart from us, we're not only relying on our own figures, there are civil society groups, I'm sure you must be aware of that, who are also monitoring and following. And we also see their figures, and they are in sync with ours. So once you have your polling agent at the polling unit and is transmitting the result as legal as conducted by the officials there, then it's a question of tabulation. Once you tabulate, and that's why the PDP, through the loquacious Dino, is making all kinds of raising dust all over. They have seen the defeat.
Where it's going.
And so they want to raise a lot of dust to scuttle the process.
Absolutely.
They don't want the process concluded because they see defeat staring them in the face. And so we are not going to be drawn into all that brickbats with them. And like Festus said, I think the man he should go back to a proper school of law. Thank you.
Not even
I want to make 3 points, and then before we,
schools.
because there are no questions. I want to make 3 very important points.
No, the issue.
The first point is that if you look at the manual, the National Collation Officer, which is the INEC chairman, is not under obligation to rely on the IREB results, the one uploaded. Go and look at it. It even goes further to say that if there is a discrepancy with that result uploaded and the manual one collated and sent to him, the manual will be relied upon to correct what is uploaded. It shows you at the end of the day that it has been, they foresee, the law foresaw that there could be that kind of discrepancy, and then somebody must have the power to make the final call. And the final call by the guidelines says that you have to still rely on the manual collation. So the law still requires the National Collation Officer, which is the INEC chairman, and that's the message I want to pass even if I'm not there at the National Collation Center. His powers does not extend to a certain result uploaded and displayed on IREB. Mahmoud has no power to even look at it. He has no power under the law to look at that result. The powers he has are to declare that result as submitted to him by the state regs. I hope you understand me. He has no such powers. The second one is that I want to ask a question. If there's a glitch in uploading the results, do we wait for 1 year? Do we wait for 1 week? That's the unreasonableness in what they are doing. How long do we wait? If there's a glitch in technology in uploading, whereas you have manually collated, you have it. How long do you wait and keep the whole nation on edge? That is the unreasonableness in what they're saying. And then the last 2 messages I have, one to the international community, and please to my own constituency, the judiciary. One, we have credible information that the PDP and LP are presently shopping for a court order to stop the announcement of the results like June 12. We have credible information from my colleagues at the bar. They have consulted some of my colleagues at the inner bar, senior advocates like me, who they have told to shop to go and prepare court papers and proceed to court. I want to appeal to the judiciary to remember the famous or the infamous Justice Ikpeme of June 12. We should not have a replay of the situation of Justice Ikpeme.
And what happened to her?
And what happened to her thereafter. That is my appeal to the judiciary, which is still my primary constituency. Please, please, and please, they should not scuttle democracy. The second one is to the international community, our friends outside the world, from all over the world. Please, in the name of God, see beyond all of this noise. Our democracy can be noisy at times, can be misleading. The noises can be misleading. Focus on the process. Please, focus on your report, what you saw in the field, not the noise of the opposition. Nobody should intimidate you to issue your report. Yaga Africa has also already said that 80-90% of the process was hitch-free in terms of accreditation and all of that. That's one of our star, agency here in terms of monitoring of elections. So I want to appeal to the world. This is a critical point in Nigeria's history. Do not pander to the whims of the noisy opposition. Follow the process, concentrate on the process, and issue your reports. God bless you.
Please, the last question, please. Yes, sir. My name is Lucky from Channels Television. So I want to find out your call for the DSS and security agencies to restrain Gino Melaye, David Momoga, and Pastor Niger. Will this not in itself overheat the polity?
No, it will not. It will not. It would actually cool down the temperature because these people are overheating the polity by their call, obvious and strident call for violence.
Absolutely.
How can a man, a supposed man of God, on the pulpit be issuing threats?
And because his brother is in the Labour Party.
Because his brother is in the Labour Party. How can you desecrate the sanctity of the pulpit on the altar of partisanship? That in itself is abhorrent. It's an abomination that the Christian community in this country should even rise up before the security agencies to sanction that kind of a fellow and call him to order. So, if the security agencies now do their work and apprehend and restrain these people calling for violence, they would have reduced the tension appreciably. And the process will go on and send a very, very poignant message to others who may be thinking along the same lines.
Let me, if I may add to that. Look, it's a good question, and it's a very important question, and it's an excellent answer that has been given to you. Let me just add this. Those of us on this side of the divide, the slightest thing that we say or do is subjected to scrutiny because we are associated with the government in power, and we are expected to be a little bit more restrained and responsible in our utterances. I myself was invited by DSS, you know very well, over some statements that I made. I tweeted a few things, and I was asked a few questions, and I reported for some time. Even the police were after me. Well, these matters have been resolved now, thankfully. But none of us has ever got up to ask for the death, destruction, raping, and maiming of members that are on the other side. We've never done that. This is what the pastor has done. And I'm so sorry to have to say this because this is a man that I had immense respect for, being a Christian myself. But for him to get up and insult and threaten and say that the whole country should be turned upside down because his candidate, Peter Obi, is not going to win the election and heavens must fall. And he has taken the cue of so many other Christian pastors, particularly Pentecostals like myself, who have chosen to tread this very dangerous path. Because when the violence starts, they will run away. We will be left here to face it. And violence never goes just one way. And that's why we need to be extremely careful. When people like Dino speak the way they do, and others threaten, violence, incite everybody, speak with so much hate, of course the DSS has to invite them. They must be, up to their duties. And they have to caution them. Because if they don't, a situation may well arise that none of us want, whereby people actually act on this incitement and begin to kill other people. And if that happens, I assure you that it will be very difficult to restrain those on our own side not to retaliate. We do not want this. We want peace in our country. We want a credible election, and we want us all to come together as Nigerians and make this thing work. Because you're losing, and you're seeing your loss right before your very eyes. You cannot make it. You're finished. You're destroyed forever. Particularly PDP. You are now crying like a baby. Take it like a man. Take your loss like a man, and stop behaving like a child.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because somebody was raising his hand there. Who? That guy. It's okay. It's okay.
When you are talking about power, it is not. It's only a way.
They said it is never served. Never served à la carte. It's never served. Don't say that. The power is never served à la
My brother, welcome back. I'm around. Whatever you want me to do.